What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Etheria Restart video. Today we're going to be talking about everything PvP with the homie Sterby, another fantastic content creator and a friend of the channel who managed to get top 16 in the beta and qualify for the Etheria World Summit. And he shared a lot of the information with me in a podcast format. This is the first part of it. We have a second part over on his channel that should be up tomorrow. So I'll leave all the links in the description. So make sure to check out Sterby's channel. The link will be in the description below. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
All right, here we go with Sterby. He is a very good Dislite player from back in the day, and also a very good E7 player. I never played E7, but he used to play E7 as well. Yeah, so pretty much me and Sterby go a little bit way back. We are all from Dislite. Me, Zogs, Sterb, we all go back from Dislite, and we're kind of all coming back together in Etheria Restart. So we're just going to, because Sterby managed to make it top 16 on his first time playing the beta on Etheria Restart. That shows how good of a player and the understanding that he brings to these type of games. And I wanted to pick his brain and share his knowledge with you guys today. So Sterby, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Sterby. I play a lot of turn-based gacha games because that's what I'm really good at. If you put me in front of a shooter, I will start shooting clouds. So basically in E7, multiple legend player. Dislite was when, I started meeting iSUMMON, Zox and stuff like that. And I was one of the earliest players, so I was on the honor server and not the global server because they took a while before they actually released the global server on Dislite. And I was, rank 1 for, multiple seasons. And then eventually that game died off for me, personally. And eventually I started moving into different games, trying to, find that RTA game again, RTA. And no game actually had the guts to do another RTA game. So I was about to give up on, PvP-esque turn-based gacha games, and then one of my church members, shout out to Install, came to me and was like, dude, have you heard of Etheria Restart? And I was like, no, what is it? He's like, it's a PvP game, check it out. And so that very same day, he DM'd me. I looked on YouTube and I saw, one of my oldest friends in, my guild, Aeon, putting videos on RTA and Etheria Restart. I was like, holy shit, can I play this game? So I went on.
That must have blown your mind, bro. That must have blown your mind.
Yeah, definitely. So I went onto, Google Play Store. I clicked on Etheria Restart, pre-reg. I was like, did I miss the beta? And literally, he told me the day the beta ended. Bro. And I'm like, dude. And I had to wait 5 months before I could play the game. So this is my very first time playing the beta, and I love it. I love it. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me, bro. Like, I was just live on Twitch for time coming with and shameless plug. And by the way, I'm gonna leave Sterby's link in the description below for his YouTube channel. He makes phenomenal videos on these type of games. Back on Dislite days, he used to make really good guides, really good informational videos on these type of games. So when Etheria comes out, I undoubtedly know that he will make very valuable content. So make sure to check it out. His link will be in the description. But I was live, and one of my mods was like, hey, have you seen Etheria Restart? I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, turn-based game kind of looks like HSR, but it has PvP. And I'm like, and then he said it's like HSR and Dislite had a baby. And I'm like, ain't no way, bro. So I check it out. And I mean, it kind of felt like that. It kind of like it was HSR. And then he was like, every boss has its own like mechanics. So you have to build different teams. And it felt kind of like Dislite and HSR kind of had a baby from us. Like, oh, let me check out this beta. The beta ended the day before. So I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. That exactly happened to me. And we had to wait 5 months before we could actually play the beta. So
yeah.
That was rough for us.
Ever since then, man, I was like, bro, I consumed every single piece of content I could find.
Dude, I
watched every Zogs video.
I was hanging
every Zogs video, every Vulcan video ever. I watched everything. Yeah. And here we go. We played the beta, and it was great. It was great. But we're here because Sterb, a few days before the beta ended, he was like, yo, I'm gonna shoot for this EWS. I'm gonna shoot for a spot. I'm going for it. I'm like, oh, go for it, bro. Like, you're the you're the PvP guy that I know. I don't know anybody else that does it more than you. And then he hits me up a few days later. He's like, yo, I made it. And he sends me a screenshot. I'm like, oh, goddamn, bro, you pulled it off. And here we are talking about his experience. So first of all, I want to ask you, what were your expectations going into the beta? as your first time playing Etheria Restart?
So I went into Etheria Restart's beta test, final beta test, right? The launch is on June 5th, if you guys didn't know. And if you guys want to check it out, make sure you check it out. But I went in there with 2 goals in mind. Number 1, experience the game. Number 2, qualify for the Etheria World Summit. So that was the goal that I went into the game, right? But I don't know what to expect. All I had was, YouTube videos. That's all I had. And I can tell you this much. When you're playing the game and when you're watching someone else play the game, bro, it's a whole different experience, man. Like, I thought, oh, the game looks alright. The game looks alright. It looks like HSR, And then when you play it, you're like, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. It feels great, right? And you can skip stories, which was amazing, by the way, because I don't care about story. I'm sorry. I have to say this again.
Neither, man.
I do not care about story. I only care about progressing my account. And that's all I did, right? And so, because I'm going this, and I have to preface this again, right? Like when everyone watches me, I am a whale, okay? So my perspective comes from a whale's perspective, okay? But I try to be as smart as I can with, my resources and my money, even though, whales have always that higher advantage. But still, I like to, find that min-maxing, because that's just me. That's why I play RTA, right? And as I entered the game, I can tell you for a fact, whaling does not help much. I can promise you this. Whaling does not help much. There were times where, I need lattices. There's no lattices to buy. I need this. There's nothing to get. I need to get, this resources, the coins, the this, the that. And I'm like, I have to farm them. What do you mean I have to farm them? So I was very, very careless with my resources in this beta. I can tell you this much. I was so careless, and I'm glad I was careless in the beta and not on the full launch, because now I have made all the mistakes. I've made all the mistakes. And so going into full launch, I know exactly what I need to do. Okay. But as I was progressing, day 1, day 2, day 3, I started realizing, I was like, okay, cool. I played gear grinder games. I know speed set, a must. You must get speed set. Okay. And that is just the norm. So I just started, grinding down into Doki. And then I realized, why can't I get past Nightmare 2 when I have people in my Discord server clearing Hell 1, Hell 4? And
Hell 1, yeah.
What the hell is going on here? I was like, what
And
do you mean?
then you look at their team.
What?
Look at their team. It's four SRs.
Yeah, I look at the team, 4 SRs. I look at my team, 5 SSRs, and I'm like, I can't clear it. What's going on? This is some bullshit. And so I started trying to figure out what the hell went wrong. And then I realized I did not farm any shells. And that hit me real hard. Because the second I cleared Fabian, my base stats and my speed skyrocketed and my account just shot to the next level. And I was like, oh, okay. That's why Grim Pursuit is the first thing you see when you open up your daily challenge and not Threshold. And I was like, okay, so the game has already systematized it for you in terms of importance. Grim Pursuit is more important than Threshold, and it's more important than Investigation, and the least important is your GPL post. And I was like, okay, so the game already figured that out for me, and I tried to be smart because I used to play turn-based games and went straight into Threshold. And, got stuck in Doki. And so after I started clearing Fabian, I looked at Nico Nana, which is going to be your next, power spike in terms of mythic shells, because now your stat just explodes, especially with your speed going up to like 32 or 35 fully awakened. And then as I got to Nico Nana, I started clearing Hell 1, Hell 2, Hell 3, Hell 4. Sure,
easy.
I didn't fully clear it. It's still 1-star clears, okay? Because that's because I already messed up big time early on, all right? And so going into RTA was not easy because I built my account wide, not tall. And because it was wide, I had a roster of units I could pick and build. I mean, I could pick and play and steal units from other players. But at the same time, they are not well built because I'm under leveled. My gears are not up to scratch because people are farming Hell 4 and I'm only farming Hell 2, Hell 3, and I'm still dropping outstanding gear when they're only dropping mythics. So my gears were all over the place, all over the shop. I did not have the fastest speed, so speed contesting was already a nightmare for me. And so I had to play really, really smart I had to understand how to counter draft, which is, you know, all the experience that I used to have back in olden days of, you know, Epic 7 and Dislite.
Yeah.
And I had to play the math in terms of ELO. Okay. So I also had to understand the psychology behind players who play the game and how they would react. So for example, I'll give you an example. Like if you were to queue in to somebody and you win, the psychology there is that, you know, someone just lost a game, they've lost 20 points, a very high chance they are going to rage queue. And when they rage queue, as long as I'm there with them, because there's not a lot of people play up when you know, start climbing higher, because you start fighting people in the same ELO and not people lower than you, where a lot of people are, you start fighting the same person. And if you know you can beat them, that means you can beat them again. And that way, you know, you start farming them until they stop playing. And when they stop playing, I stop playing. Because I know I net 60 points, they lost 60 points. That means I am now, you know, ahead of the curve. And then now I just have to wait for another time zone or another bracket where I can find a player that I know I can beat and then fight them again and just start farming them. That was how I
tried to get in there.
Right? Because I know I couldn't fight the people who had played the beta 2 to 3 times and knew exactly the roadmap to getting good gear. So like there were a lot of people I was playing who were just slapping me silly with like Victors and RC77 and number 41. I was like, what the hell do all these SRs do, man? Why are my SSRs fucking dying? Right? And so I had to, you know, understand that my gears are not great. I'm under level. So I need to be able to draft smart, play smart, and learn how to, you know, math the ELO. And so that was what I did. And lo and behold, thankfully, I made it. So I sat on rank 9 for the longest time. And I was looking at, you know, where the breakpoint was, because in the EWS qualifiers, they had their little rules there where they say the top 16 gets invited. And so I decided, okay, what is the top 16 breakpoint? And I saw for the longest time, it was, you know, 2811. 2811 was the 16th place, and the 17th place was 2784, something like that. And the math there would be that person needs to play 3 games to take 16th place and knock the 16th down to 17th, right? And so my plan was, if I play and get another 5 or 6 games above that in terms of, you know, ranking and points, the chances of them knocking me down will be a lot slower. And the people that will actually be pushing me off and, you know, bringing the ELO higher will be the 16th and the 15th place getting knocked out. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here. The last day, I just played a couple of games just to get myself up to 9th place. And the hardest thing to do when, you know, you can see that you only have 7 hours left is sitting on your hands and doing nothing. Because you're always sitting there with that thing, with that in your mind going, what if I play one more game? That will guarantee me top 10. That will guarantee me top 8. That will guarantee it to me.
But if you
at
lose,
the same time, if I lose,
you
I'm
go
in
back
the spot
down.
that I already calculated. I'm the one that's going to be pushed down, and then I will have to play it, right? Because you win 20 points, you also lose 20 points. There are also times you will win 18 points, but you will lose 20 points, right? So if I start losing, if I go on a losing streak, and with not a lot of people playing because they're just sitting there holding their rank, I'm in the shit position. And I don't want to be in that position. So the hardest thing for me to do at that point is to understand, sit on your hands, do nothing. If you ever see that you're in a danger zone of like being on top 16 or being in 16th place in the last hour, then I will have no choice but to play. But I never got there, thankfully.
Because you don't lose anything. At that point, you don't lose anything.
Yeah, at that point,
you were in that middle point,
yeah,
in that middle point
exactly.
where you were, you could have lost. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have lost my spot if, you know, I got greedy and I was like, okay, let's play one more game. And then I match up with someone who has better gear than me, who's well farmed, and, you know, I lose because of gear difference. What can I can't do anything.
And it's very likely because people at that point, they know what they're doing. If they made it that far, top 16, they know what they're doing to some degree, right?
Yeah. And
so odds are they're gonna have good gear.
And they've already played like 2 to 3 betas. So they know exactly, you know, how to what units to farm and stuff like that. Like, for example, I did not know that Viper was such a pain in the ass. Do you know what Viper does?
Yeah, the counter and the dispel and all that stuff.
Yeah. You hit anyone else, he counters. You crit him, he will counter with an ult. And he strips, he attacks
Yeah.
down, he speeds down. And I'm like, this guy is so annoying, bro, because they play them with Zanya and Linglo. So there is no way you're killing it. Right? Because they'll
Yep.
pick it with Tiamat, and you either die to Viper or you die to Tiamat. You choose one at that point.
Yep.
So I didn't have that. I know I don't have that. And I know I don't have the fastest kit. So I had to play very, very smart in that sense. Right? And I had to math it at the end of the last day. So that was my experience playing RTA. Definitely made a whole lot more mistakes. If I didn't make those mistakes, I could probably push a lot more, I think. But I did it. And I had
So you would say the biggest mistake you made was to spread your resources like a little too thin.
Yeah, because I didn't know how what the resource allocate or what do you call it, the resource distribution was going to be like, right, in this game.
Okay.
I don't know how much
Fair enough,
points you were going to get. I don't know how much training data you were going to get. I knew that you were getting a shitload of summons because I didn't really need to spend on summons. I just kept getting a 10 pull every day, sometimes even even 2 multis a day, and I'm like, dude, what the? This is insane, right? And so I just started, doing random shit with my stuff. Like I was reconfiguring my rare shells, bruh. Like my Brutal Panda, I was trying to get the speed. I was like, all right, let's get the speed on this thing. Like in the early games. And I was just wasting training data for no reason. And I was like, why did I do that? After a few days of playing, I then realized, why did I do that? Right? Same thing with my coins. I was just, plus 15 everything I saw because I was like, all right, let's get all the main stats up. That's how I'm gonna push that's how I'm gonna push content. That's not how you push content, spoiler alert. You push content with shells because that's the biggest base stats you increase you'll ever get. So I wasted all of that stuff, and then
you waste the thing with shells is that they have their own coins, they have their own currency, so you don't waste that many. They use coins too, but you don't use as many.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they don't use coins.
It doesn't dip into your other.
They use training data, but that training data is also very, very scarce. Right, when you start getting into the mythic ranks, when you start upgrading those, boy, those are expensive. And I wasted so much on the rares that I could have used to, make 2 or 3 more mythic level 40s, that I did not have. So I couldn't build units because I was stuck. Because I had only 12 units and I knew that I wanted to go white, but it was not white enough. Right? So
you were able to build 12 units?
Yeah, I had 12 units built. Yeah,
like,
so it was Messiah.
When you say built, what do you mean exactly?
Like ready for
6 star?
No. Like they were geared with shells and modules, and they were at least 5 stars to 6 stars, but they were not max level.
Yeah, you got that done in 11 days.
Yeah, but they were not max level. I did also reset Leon, right, to get other units up because I knew that I needed the resources because you're in the time crunch of like 9 days to play RTA and to place that. So that is that pressure cooker going on.
Yeah.
And so in launch, I'm never gonna reset Leon. Leon is actually very good. Okay.
Yeah, Leon is very good.
I don't know where that whole connotation of reset Leon once you clear your level 45 hyperlink charter thing. Don't do that in launch, please, for the love of God. Don't do that.
Yeah, Leon's very good. Yeah. After when I don't know if you got to. I'm pretty sure you got to farm not Hell, Inferno. Did you ever get to beat it?
I got to Inferno, but I couldn't beat it because my stats were not there. They were not there.
Yeah. So Leon was beating a few of the Inferno stages. So yeah, guys, Leon is very good.
Leon is very good. I don't know where that connotation come from. Please don't do it. Okay. Whoever said that needs to get their head checked. Okay. But you're listening to to me, so you're good. You're in good hands.
And not only that, they give you dupes of Leon, so you'll have her at least second. I don't know what the dupes are called. You'll have at least 2 dupes.
They're called enemas, right? They're called enema.
Yeah, enemas.
And the hacker units are called
have her at least A2.
Yeah, you have them A2. That's also one thing you guys have to remember. It's quite easy to max dupe her, especially now that we have the proper confirmation that dupes do matter. Right? Because it never made sense to me anyway that dupes didn't matter, right? Because think about it this way, right? Hellkit on his A4 gives him 8% crit rate. if I build my hell kit with 100% crit rate because I have 8% crit on my dupe,
A4.
and I go into RTA and I miss a crit, I'm gonna be pissed
I'll
off,
be
bro.
pissed.
I'll be so
Yeah, I'll be
fucking
pissed.
mad, bro. You won't understand. I'll be like,
Yeah, I'll
how
be
the hell
pissed.
did I miss that? I made 100% crit, right?
Mhm.
So it makes sense that dupes do work. I don't know who patient zero was when it comes to this misinformation, but it did not
I
make
think
sense
it was
to me.
I was reading that it was more like a classic telephone game type of deal, because they said that I think the initial message was that dupes weren't as impactful
Mhm.
because they don't change. I know, like in Dislike, for example, R2 Yunchuan became a different character essentially when you have him R2,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
In this game, it doesn't work like that. You just get extra stats. It's more like stat sticks or stat increase, which are impactful, right? Because a 10% increase in HP, for example, would be very impactful in, when you have 40k HP, having 4k HP extra is very good. It could be the difference between living and dying.
Mhm.
But it's not an
It-
extra mechanic on the character.
Yeah.
So I think people repeating, well, they're not impactful. They're not impactful. They don't work. Oh, they're bad. They're bad. They don't work. I think it just got worse and worse and worse until people just started saying that they don't work on RTA.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think that's what happened.
look, if a character fundamentally changes because of dupes, I mean, then that actually matters, having dupes. But if it's just, like a 10% stat increase, or a 10% attack increase, damage increase, or damage reduction, if you play
Yeah.
smart enough, and if you draft smart enough in RTA, that is not going to help, the person who draft bad. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Okay? Because my Heinrich is A4. Okay? And guess what happened, guys? I am Victor! I'm dead! Victor just kills me! What do you mean? So, like,
Yeah, Victor's so funny. He just beat you with a shovel.
dude, when you get bagpiped by Victor, it feels different, bro. It feels different. Like
Disrespectful.
that 10% increase in attack, defense, and HP didn't even matter to Victor. He just goes bye. So
That's funny.
so really, don't worry about it. Okay? And the fact that you get
Yeah.
Leon as a free dupe on them on her,
Yeah.
helps. It helps.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion.
All right. Question: How do you feel about Gary? Well, Gray. I call him
Oh
Gary.
yeah, you call him Gary.
Gray.
That was one of my mistakes as well, funnily enough.
I knew it. I knew it because I did it too. I
Dude.
knew it because I did it too.
Dude, all I did was, because day one, I just started summoning. I just summoned non-stop, right? I have a 98,
too,
I have
bro.
like a 98% roster. All I was missing was
Oh, damn.
Ciara, Lily, Selence. That's all I was missing. Okay?
Damn.
So I had everything under the sun except for Lily, Ciara, Selence. And so I was like, okay, if I go in with 5 SSRs, I will win the game. And then I go to Doki and I was like, why the fuck can't I beat it? And then I see everyone gray. I was like, maybe there's something here. Maybe let me just put my gear in gray. Let's see. Okay, go in there.
Try it
pick
out.
Gray. Play it first try. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've messed up again.
Yeah, that happened to me. And I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
And you know what happened to me?
Same thing with Sanya, bro.
I don't know, like
Sanya too.
Zania.
Sanya.
Oh,
Same thing.
the healer.
The healer. Same thing. Didn't care about her until I realized, oh shit, I need her.
Bro, do you know that I practically never used a healer the entire beta.
Oh really?
I just used Marvel the entire thing. Like I just CC'd the entire game.
Marvel was another one.
It's like, huh?
Marvel was another one. When I first
Oh,
entered,
Marvel. I think Marvel is. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put Lily like over here in her own corner, but I think Marvel's probably the best character in the game. I think.
in early
Aside from
game,
Lily.
Marvel will dominate PvP and PvE, guaranteed, 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
But as the game goes on, as the game progresses into the later stages of the game, when you get your bulwark set, your immunity sets, and stuff like that, he gets phased out of PvP but he still stays as a PvE god and he helps you boss stuff so
Mhm.
easily. Okay.
Yeah.
For those people who played this, like yourself and I, Marvel is Pritzker.
That's what I said too. He's young Pritzker.
He is the same unit, right?
He's
The only
Pritzker.
difference is that his
Yep.
S3 doesn't stun. That's it.
Imagine if he did. Imagine if he
dude,
did.
We had to go through that. Oh fuck! I swear to God, he was the most annoying piece
The
of
tower?
shit in Dislite. I swear to God, he was the most annoying thing in Guild Wars as well. He is Marvel. It's nothing in comparison. It's nothing in comparison to
Yeah.
what we had to go through.
Didn't he reset cooldowns too?
Yeah. If he stuns you,
Oh yeah.
and then he
Yeah,
pushes you back on
Pritzker
S1.
stuns and resets cooldowns. Yeah.
He stuns,
And
resets
sets you back.
cooldowns, he speeds down,
And sets you back.
and that his passive is that, and then his S1 is basically the same as Marvel, which is pushback.
Yeah.
Hello. You
Yeah.
guys have it easy, okay? Marvel is not broken, right? The second we start
Yeah, it's not
moving out
broken,
of that phase where you can start farming immunity sets from Aurora, which is called Bulwark in this game, you're fine. Marvel can stay in PvE, and trust me, he will make your PvE content, bossing content, so much easier.
Yeah, I think people that are calling for him to like get nerfed is because they don't have like
It's because we only played like 3 weeks. I mean, two
yeah,
weeks.
Yeah.
Give it 3 months.
once
You will
you-
see that Marvel does not do much except for PvE.
No, and I guarantee they just haven't used him. They haven't used him themselves on the PvE content that he makes easy, which is all of it, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I can tell you from
They'll learn to appreciate it once they
I
start.
can tell you in RTA, the last day or second last day, Marvel stonks dropped to the floor so fast. Because number one, everyone was playing super tanky. Okay? Linglo Sanya.
Bulwark.
They're going Linglo Sanya. Right? And very high chance that their Linglo was on Bulwark. Okay? So if you push everyone back and their Linglo was on Bulwark, guess what? Everyone is going to get immunity immediately when she takes a turn. Your Marvel is not going to do anything anymore. And everyone is topped up. And you've blasted all your S3s. You have no way to kill them and they get a second life. So Marvel did not do much in the last 2 days of RTA. I could feel his stonks go down because I would pick Marvel and people would just go, Linglo, Sanya, first 2 picks. And I was like, shit, I have to take the Tiamat now. So I take the Tiamat. And then now my team's scuffed. They've went tanky as shit. And I can't kill them, right? So if I'm already experiencing it in 9 days worth of playing RTA, imagine a whole season, which is typically 3 months from the game I came from, which is E7. It's 3 months. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he doesn't need a nerf yet. He's
I really don't think he needs a nerf.
He's gonna be the PvE king, and everybody's gonna appreciate it. He's gonna be everybody's favorite character.
Yeah, you're gonna appreciate it for bossing PvE content and clearing stuff. I guarantee it.
When you started, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you started, you already know that you wanted to get top 16. How hard did you think it was gonna be? Like, where do you think you were actually gonna end versus where you ended? Like, how was that? Like,
I have a winner's mindset.
Did you know for a fact you were gonna end?
I had a winner's
where you did
mindset,
it?
so I knew that I was going to end top 16, right? Because it all starts up here, right? Especially when you're playing PvP competitive games, you have to always have the mindset of the winner. And so I knew that I was going to end top 16, but it was more a question of when I looked at the rules and stuff like that, and in terms of how you get invited. Either you place top 16 in the beta, or you place top 16 for each server in full release. Okay, and then I thought to myself, if I do it within 9 days in the beta to get myself into top 16, what are the chances of me making it versus me waiting for full release and then going ham and then playing for top 16 in global server, which is going to be majority of the players. And I did the math there and I went, okay, I think I will push for top 16 in the beta because everyone's going to be gated anyway, right? Everyone's on the same playing field. Like, you only have this much stamina to play with. Everyone is a beta. Everyone's going to max refresh, right? And so I decided to do it in the beta because I think it will be less sweaty and it will only be those really hardcore players that will go in versus you
Yeah.
playing on full launch when everyone has all the gears in the world, has most of the PvP units already, and the chance of you getting gear diffed is going to be way, way, way higher, right? And the roster is going to be a lot bigger. You're going to have a lot harder of a time trying to figure out the meta, okay? Because you're going to have a longer seasonal period. And if people already are having that notion of, okay, I am going to play and go ham on full launch, that means the beta is going to be, less saturated, less condensed in terms of, competition, quote unquote. Not to say that I'm not going to make, mythic or top 100 in the full release. I am, okay? But to push the top 16 when everyone is playing and everyone has the exact same mindset, either I need to have a lot of time, I need to have 24 hours non-stop playing, grinding, or I need to, be a giga chat and just, play the last day and just win all my games. Yeah. So it was a matter of which one.
Which in either case is unrealistic. And like, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are going to be up there and at the top are already going to be sweaty players, right? I'm going to be there. So I don't think that me trying to overstress myself to make it in there is worth it in the full launch versus in the beta. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I thought that going into the beta is a lot easier for me to make top 16 because my focus is I want to think about how am I going to play the knockout stages to get myself into the top 8. Right? I don't want to be thinking about, okay, I need to stress because now I need to do it. The pressure is on. Everyone is here. Now I got to do it. I don't want to do that. And because global is going to be such a condensed server, in my opinion, versus Europe or Asia, only 16 players out of global is going to make it. And if global is going to already be the most condensed server, you're fighting with a lot of players who wants to make into EWS.
Yeah.
So that was my.
You said at the beginning that was your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal was to make EWS.
I mean, at the end of the day, I was going to either, if I didn't make it in top 16 this beta, I was going to do it in full launch. I was going to get in either way, but I felt that my odds of getting to top 16 was a lot easier than in the full launch.
Now,
so
that makes sense. How would you alter your strategy for launch? Like, what would be your strategy going into launch now? Well, let's say launch is tomorrow. Like, what would your day 1, day 2? Take me to your first 7 days of launch. Like, what would your strategy be?
Thinking about how I'm going to go about it. Day 1, as a whale, obviously, I'm going to pull all the units. That's my goal. Okay, because my train of thought is, if I get all 24 SSRs right now, day 0, I only have to worry about units that come out. That's it. I just have to pull on targeted banners because it's no 50-50, right? So all I have to do is just worry about the new units. So I'm going to go day 0, pull all the units. But here's the catch. I'm going to be working on my SR units a lot more than my SSRs. Because I learned that SRs is how you progress. That was a fucking rude awakening, bro.
Listen to that.
That was one hell of a rude awakening. So this is coming from a whale. Okay? You don't need SSRs. I just want to pull because I want a full Pokédex. Okay? But you don't have to. Because your SR units does everything just fine. Your Grey, your Sanya, your Marvel, your Kraken. That's all you need, really. Really, that's all you really need. I'm not even kidding you.
Victor.
Right? Victor, trust me, Victor.
Dina, bro, we can't forget about Dina. Dina MVP.
I think Dina is when you want to start speed clearing, when you want to start getting the 3 stars. Like, I'll get into that progression state. So first day 1, I'm gonna work on my SR units. The Grey, the Kraken, the Sanya. Right, get them all up to scratch, get them ready. Okay, and then obviously work on your Lien because Hyperlink Charter gives you a lot of rewards, and that's gonna be your main DPS anyway to clear Terramaton. And then I'm going to stick into just the shells. I'm going to try to get myself as quickly as possible to Fabian. That could be day 2. That could be day 3. I don't know. But I want to get myself as quickly as I can to Fabian because that is where, you get your first power spike. And I will stay in Terramaton. Okay? People will ask why stay in Terramaton, not Doki. I'll tell you why. Because I don't know if you know about this iSUMMON, but if you were to do a run in Terramaton, you get way more unit experience than if you were to do Doki or Shells. I'm not even kidding you. I've done it before. If you want, you can watch the previous video where I say I did all the mistakes so that you didn't have to. That video. When I did Hell 3 Terramaton, I got 1,000 experience for a character. 1,000.
Okay.
Your gold record thing that you get to level up your units, that's 5,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
You get 1,000. When I did Doki and when I did Doki, I was getting 450 to 600. When I did Hoyan, or if I did Sharon or Nico Nana, I was getting 350. So that is how you get your account, your unit levels up quicker. Because I learned that when I was trying to level up my Dyna and I was doing Terramaton. And my Dyna was level 8, 4-star. And then she was just going 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I was looking at my Marvel, who is up there in, Nico Nana farming, stuck at level 18, 5-star. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? So that's when I realized doing Terramaton gives you a way more experience. I don't know if they're going to change it at full launch, but if they stay
I never noticed that.
Yeah, I know. This is like a little thing that I noticed because I saw the discrepancy. I saw my Dyna just leveling up and catching up to my Marvel when my Marvel was doing 100 runs and he's only stuck at and he's still at 18, and my Dyna is going all the way up to 13 already in like the span of like what, a 10 run of thingy. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick in Terramaton anyway because you need the DPS gear to do Doki, right? Because your speed doesn't come from Doki, your speed comes from shells. Doki just amplifies it with the multipliers. Right? So if you have shit base stats already, like you only have a plus 20 speed because that's realistically what you're gonna get. Plus 35% of that is still way less than a plus 60. And then you put the 35 multiplier on it. So work on Terramaton so that your Doki runs are faster and cleaner and smoother. And then from there, progress all the way to Nico Nana for shells. Okay?
Nico Nana is super important.
Once you get the Nico Nana, that's your next power spike in terms of base stats, right? Everything just power spikes for you. And then
you get the bee and you get the shark. The bee and the shark, those are so good. The gold bee and the shark.
Sometimes even the diamond heart, the one that gives you a shield, you can put it on like Freya, right? Because Freya will get the shield and the defense up, right? So that shield will never break, right? It will save you a whole lot of runs where Freya was supposed to die or someone else was supposed to die, right?
Yeah.
So once you get to Nico, that is the next power spike you'll get. Then you can start worrying about farming hell. Okay. Once you get there, that's all you worry about. Don't try to rush it to level 50. Okay. If you don't want to rush to level 50, you don't have to force yourself to rush to level 50 because getting to Inferno is a whole different beast, in my opinion. All right?
Yeah.
And you have all the time in the world now to get there. You don't have to be a speed clearer. The only time when I will start trying to go for speed clears is because I want to get the 3 stars so that I can do a 10 run on all of them. And that's
if you clear it consistently.
Yeah, I mean, if I know I can already clear consistently.
If you're losing
with a 1 star, right? If I can already consistently clear a 5 run with 1 star, this is when I will want to push a speed team into whatever content I want so that I can get for the full 10 run and then revert back to my original gear and then do that, right? And that's when I will start leveling up Dyna because she will help me start pushing content and doing the speed clears just for the stars. That's it. That's my strategy. Besides that, I'm just gonna enjoy all the modes. I'm not really gonna be worried too much about RTA at the start. I'm not until the end of the month when it's time to push, because I want to focus on farming first. Make sure I have all the gears. I have everything laid out for me. Right? Just think of a mechanic just putting all the tools in front of them and be like, all right, this is what I got to work with.
Yeah.
And then work with that. Right? There's no point trying to do RTA, wild farm, and then lose, and then feel bad about it, and then try to rage farm, and then realize I don't have any more stamina. I'm going to start using my pots. Speaking of pots, this is also important. Save your pots because we have this double drop event. Save them. Okay. If anything, your union already gives you 100 stamina. Your union also gives you 80 stamina for doing arena. Your union
You
already
get a daily that gives you. Your daily give you
a daily
one
that
pot.
gives you a weekly personal quest that gives you 80, and then a guild one that gives you 1 stamina pot, right? Your
Yeah.
dailies also give you a stamina pot. All right. For the
Yeah.
first week, use them, okay, so that you can progress as far as you can. But then start saving them after that. All right. If you really want to, spend maybe 1 refresh on your hydro crystals. 60 is okay. It's manageable. All right. You're still gonna get at least 300 or 310 runs in anyway. Okay. Take it slow if you're free to play. All right. If you're paying, still, even if you're paying, don't use your stamina pots. Just refresh with your hydro crystals, because you want to jam all of that stuff, because it doesn't expire, into the double event. That's when you get the most bang for your buck on your stamina.
Mm-hmm. And you get
Okay,
so much value out of it because everything is doubled. And in
yeah,
this game, you can drop
dude. I was
pulls
so
from
surprised, bro, when they say it's a
yep,
literal double of everything. Because I
yeah.
played games where I think same thing with Dislite. When they say double drop for experience, it's just the experience. Your goal stays the
It's
same.
just the experience. Yeah.
This one is
But
literally
here's
whatever you
everything.
get times 2.
Yep.
So you can farm anima
It's
prototypes
literally everything.
from investigations. You can farm, your summons from the XP dungeon. That's when I'll actually do XP dungeon, because that will actually give me a quick boost in levels. Besides that, I will never touch it. I'll just touch Terramaton if I want to level up units. Because now you have to think about, if you can clear Terramaton quite easily, that's one way to farm gold and experience. So you can bring a 4-man team and a fodder and farm that and level it up that way. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of strategies that you can pull off. This is the strategies that I formulated after playing 9 days worth of Etheria Restart.
Yeah.
And that's what I will be planning to do. Right? I want to get to where I am, which was level 50. But that's also because I'm a paying player, so I'm gonna get there a lot faster than you anyway. So that is basically how I'm going to be structuring it. I'm going to be more systematic in how I spend my resources. I'm not going to do dumb shit on my training data. I'm not going to reconfigure blue stuff. I'm not going to level up my epic gears to plus 15 or my unique gears to plus 15, because I did that a whole bunch. So
Yeah.
there you have it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's more like focusing more on SRs than SSRs. Because like when I did the same thing, frame 1, I summoned Freya, I summoned Messiah, I summoned 3 Rosas back to back. And then I just started using them. Like my whole team was just SSRs. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna one shot the game, sure. Have it all. And then no, it doesn't work like that in this game. And it wasn't until way later something happened. I saw everybody clearing Doki with just gray and all these SRs, and I had to go back and retroactively like grind up XP, grind up GP outpost to level up all those SR characters, and it kind of set me back. And I made a video about it. Just focus on your SR characters before your SSR. Maybe Leon and maybe like Remolka or Rosa or Tia, but just focus on like 1 or 2 SSRs, and then the rest of them just do SRs. They take less resources to build, and they work. They're really really good.
And that's the good thing about this game. Like, your SRs matter. Your
Yeah.
SRs matter. I can tell you in this slide, they didn't give a shit about SRs, bro. It was only about SSRs. It was only about that, right? E7 has that balance, but there's also that imbalance in the early game of E7 back then, where SSRs matter. Like, if you didn't have Arbiter Vildred, your account's fucked. That was the meta back then, right? When I was playing. I don't know about now. I think now it's a bit better. But this game really, takes care of you in terms of like your SRs, your Rs. Like, that, like number 41 is so good. Number 41 is an R unit.
The rare,
The rare, yeah. Number 41.
Oh, she's like the Dahlia, right? She's like the action advance with the attack up and the heal.
She is the highest turn meter pusher in the game.
Yeah.
35%. Chiaki the Echo is only 20.
I think so. I did math. Well, I did kind of like the math. She's like the highest burst, but Chiaki is like the highest like overall once you like math everything in. But she the highest burst, for example, for cleaving, she is definitely the highest cleaver. The
She
highest
also
yeah, she's
heals.
like the Dahlia.
She also heals, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Right? So you can even
Yeah,
bring
so
her with Tiamat, heal Tiamat to bring up bloodsheds on Tiamat. Like,
Yeah.
and then you can push.
she's good.
And then you can push. Yeah, she's so good. Like the R, I didn't have the chance to experience the R units because that was my first mistake anyway. Just worrying about the SSRs and then having to backlog, fix up my SRs. So I already cooked it from the start, which I'm not going to do. I'm actually going to take this downtime and really go onto Hell Hades or Pride Wind and just look at units and just read them. Make sure I really know what they do. Because I have been dumbfounded that SRs are so good. I've been dumbfounded.
Same here. Speaking of units, so in the first, let's say, because we only played about 11 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the first 11 days of the game, if you had to pick 5 units to that you would say these are the 5 most valuable units to invest early on, what will be the first 5 units? We already talked about Leon, so we're not going to talk about Leon. Let's put Leon aside. What are the first 5?
This can be any rarity.
In your opinion? Huh?
Any rarity?
Yeah, any rarity. 5 units aside from Leon, because obviously Leon is very good. People should just build Leon. What are the other 5 units that people should invest in early on to have a easy time and that they'll have good return on investment?
Marvel, Kraken, Grey, Sania, and the last one can be whichever unit you want. Really, either Freya, Tiamat, Rosa, whatever you want. These 4.
What do you think about Ramolka?
Okay, that can be a whole discussion. Like the same thing with Tiamat versus Rosa. Have you seen that controversy?
Yeah. I personally think. I mean, I pulled Rosa. Rosa is one of my favorite characters in the game.
Okay,
right. But I think Tia just gives you that comfort.
My problem with it, right? Spoiler alert, I would say always go for Tiamat as your target pick.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why you would go.
Okay.
Why would you not go for Tia?
But my argument here is that you go for Tiamat because she provides longevity to your account. Okay? That's point number 1. Point number 2, it is way easier to power creep a DPS than a bruiser. All right? Because DPS are always flavor of the month. Okay? I don't know when it will happen, but eventually you are going to get to a point where your DPS is going to get power crept. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Number 3, to make a DPS work, you have to fully invest into them. You need everything, all the prowesses, you need all the stats you can get onto them. Okay? And as a free-to-play player or a low spender, you're not going to have that, my friend. You're going to jam it all into Leon already. So you're going to be tight.
Here's another thing that goes in favor of Tia and not Rosa. I mean, you could argue that Rosa's best gear, you don't get it until way later in Termaton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because it's the Battle Wheel, I think, the one that gives you an extra follow-up every now and then.
Yeah, you get Battle Wheel. You can
would
also
argue
go
that's
into Kenai, right?
Kenai Battle Wheel. Either way, you don't get them until later on because those are mythics, right? But you could get Battle Wheel in the purple one, but whatever the case, you don't get them until later. You can't get them in the beginning.
No, you can, but investment is so high that you won't even see, your fruits of your labor until that late into the game. So it's not worth it trying to build a DPS for that.
Tia has a set in every single dungeon that you can farm for her, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Termaton, you have both HP. There's 2 HP sets in there that work for Tia. And while you're farming Termaton, you're farming the DPS set, and you also have 2 HP sets, so you're not wasting resources there, right? In Doki Doki set, I think the Bramble set is Doki Doki, which is her best set, right?
Yeah, and then your speed set.
Aurora, there's the immunity set, which everybody wants. So no matter what you're farming, you're always farming for Tia.
Tia works with anything, really. And you don't even need that much of an investment on her skills.
Yeah.
Right? For her to work. She already works. right? You just need to get, all the basic attack, defense, and attack, right? Throw in 1 or 2 Latices here and there into a S3 primarily because you get more HP, because that's where all the HP is. You're good.
Yeah.
You're
I
good
think
for a long bit.
I think my only thing, instead of Rosa, I would say Romolka or Tia for my selector, and in my case, because I'm gonna have to upgrade your play count as well. And the thing is that if I can't guarantee myself to get a 4-star Sania, then I will feel like pretty bad for the first 7 days without having Ling Luo. Because if I have Ling Luo and Tia, then I'll be fine. But the first 7 days, it'll be a little tough with like the Dorothy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can also just use Chiaki, the healer, not the pusher.
The 5-star, the red one.
Yeah, the red Chiaki. She is also a very good healer, and she also gives attack damage mitigation on her heal over time on the origami buff. So you can use Chiaki with Tiamat. You have options already, straight up, right out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But that was like my only argument, so I wouldn't put Rosa in that argument. I would swap Rosa for Romolka, because Romolka just like makes Doki a lot easier, especially when paired up Gray and like
I don't know
Marvel.
That, I have Romolka, I use Romolka, and I was still having a hard time in I couldn't clear Nightmare. I couldn't clear it.
Really?
I couldn't clear it. Because I wasn't one-shotting the waves. That was my problem. Right? And
I couldn't one-shot the waves because I wasn't landing the because I wasn't using Gray or Gary. Once I started using Gary and started putting the defense down, I was one-shotting them. It was
I personally, with my account, the way I had it, it didn't do much. And that was also maybe because I didn't invest into her skills as well. Right?
Oh yeah, you have to
the problem.
The S3 you have to fully max it out. Because if you kill the main target, it makes the splash damage 100% of the damage. So if you deal 50k damage to the target, it deals 50k true damage to everybody else, ignoring the shield that Doki puts on them. So it doesn't matter if they're stunned or not; they just die.
I know, but still, it's a massive investment to do it. That's my point.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, you
need a minimum of already 3 Latices there, 3 perfect Latices. To get there. To begin with, that's a lot, if you ask me. Right?
Yeah.
Because eventually,
it is.
Eventually, she's gonna get power crapped, and you're gonna wish that you had that 3 Latices for the new unit. I promise you. I promise you.
Sure.
Because she reminds me of early game E7, where she is exactly like Sez. Sez has the exact same kit. If he kills something, he splashes the damage and he also resets his attack. Okay? He has the same skill. In this slide, Romolka is Brewster.
Yeah.
No, wait. Rosa is Brewster. Right? And think about it. He assists attacks non-stop. He pushes back. He stuns.
Yeah.
He assists attacks non-stop.
Yeah.
You remember how much you had to invest into Brewster for him to actually work?
Yeah.
All the ability mons when you could have used it on something else. And then it wasn't until months later when they, decided to, do some shitty balancing and make him the most busted unit ever.
Yeah.
But before that, people were like, what the hell is this unit? This unit sucks. And then I was like,
skipped him when he first came out because I didn't want to invest in him. And then they made him broke, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. I don't want to waste my Latices, and this coming from a whale who can buy Latices whenever it comes out. Can you imagine if you don't have that ability that I do? You're gonna be struggling to get Latices already, and you have to, put it into a DPS that is going to be a flavor of the month that eventually you're probably never going to use in RTA, and you have no chance to reconfigure the unit and take it back. Do you really want to risk that? That's the question.
Well, I mean, if that unit is gonna forever farm me Doki Inferno, then I mean, personally for me, I mean, maybe for you probably don't think it's worth, but for me, I think it's worth. But again, I'm also gonna like spend on the game, so maybe for free to play, that might not be the best.
I mean, to be fair, if you were to put Latices into it, that can do 2 things. Messiah will clear Doki for you already. He can one-shot both waves in an Inferno by the time you get to, that late into the game. right?
But
Because
I had Messiah. I had Messiah at A2, bro, and he wasn't doing it.
no, not
He
now,
wasn't doing
not
it.
now.
Oh, in the
In the
future.
later games, when you get into like Codex of Magic, where you can reset your skills,
Okay.
he will start
Yeah.
clearing waves for you because you can use Codex of Magic
Okay.
on Messiah. He can S3 the first
Yeah.
wave and S3 the second wave.
Yeah.
Right? Remote.
I mean,
you don't really need Remoka at that point, and then you would have been more happy that you used the Latizers on Messiah than on Remoka, because you can use Messiah on PvP.
yeah.
So
Well, the reason I'm saying this, and I'm glad we're talking about this because I got Messiah, right? And I got 2 copies of Messiah. Oh, 3 copies of Messiah. Actually, 3, 2. I think 3 copies of Messiah. So I'm a Messiah A2. Fully invested him. I had him his second skill with 3 Latizers on it, third skill fully maxed out, and I had to he just wasn't cutting it. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't until I started using Remolka with Gray that I started clearing like Hell 4 Doki. It wasn't until I put those 2 together that it just started working.
I cleared
So I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe there's some.
with Tiamat. So I was doing,
Say what?
I cleared Hell 4 1 star, obviously.
Yeah.
With Tiamat Sanya.
Oh, I never got Tia. I was so upset.
So I mean that's already another argument to just pick Tia, because she's safe.
Tia.
You can do it. You can use her everywhere. She's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
You want to taunt? She's there. You want a shield? She's there. You want a healing over time? She's there. You want damage mitigation? She's there. You want an AoE nuke? She's there.
Yeah, she's really good. She's really good.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's a really interesting discussion. It really is. But I still think Tia would probably still be the number 1 choice, even though people are. I've seen a lot of people saying that she's overrated or whatever the case may be. I still think she is probably the best beginner choice overall, in my opinion, over Rosa, over Romolka. Yeah. And then following the question that I just asked about the first 5 units, after those 5 units, if you could pick 5 more after that, who would you pick?
if I can pick 5 more, then that's when I'll start looking into my SSRs. So Messiah, Heinrich, Hellkit, if you get them, obviously. Those will be like, the main ones, because Heinrich, you're going to need him for Inferno Terramaton. You're going to need him for Inferno Aurora. And he's going to, because he's like one of our premier strippers. Hellkit just helps you clear content a lot easier because he puts up the Shroud Barrier, which is not a normal barrier. It has a barrier with immunity. Messiah, because he's a cleaver, and I'm going to be using him in PvP more than likely, right? And then 2 more would probably be Freya, right? We can't discount Freya, because Freya, everyone has a chance to get her in the target banner.
Yeah.
And Freya is
I like
so
Freya,
versatile.
you don't really need to invest anything into her.
Yeah, and she's super versatile. Like if you're in PvE, she already, does the whole nightmare plus attack buff, which is what you need. And if you're in PvP, you can use her defensively, you can use her offensively. Like she's very, very, very versatile with all the turn meter manipulation as well, might I add.
Yeah.
So Freya will be like the 4th one, and then the 5th one will be Linglor, which everyone gets for free.
What about Lily?
I mean, if you get Lily, build Lily.
Well, I mean, the same thing can be said about Heinrich.
But I'm not going to, prioritize building Lily so much, because number 1, I don't have much experience with her already. Okay, to begin with. Number 2, Lily is only, really good for like real endgame bossing content. Right? Like I've seen people use Lily with Victor. Also, I've copped it in RTA, where the twin trick into, Victor is just ridiculous amount of damage. It's just stupid. Okay. But she works with, most of the she's mostly in arena defense. I can't talk much about PvE because I didn't get her. I cannot put my finger on her.
I didn't get her either, but I mean, she's everywhere. She's everywhere. I think
she is everywhere because number 1, because of the lack of roster anyway. But for someone with a massive roster, and I think it's a lot safer for me to just build the tried and true units like Tiamat, Grey, Sanya, Kraken. These units, Marvel, they are guaranteed. Everyone's gonna get them, right? At some point or another.
No, I agree 100% with you. I agree.
But Lily is like going to be a bit of a harder thing to pick. I mean, to get to begin with. Number one, plus number two, if you fully built Lily, like that's a support. You need a DPS too. You still need a DPS. And Heinrich already does very niche things. Hellkit does very niche things, but Lily doesn't really do niche things per se. She just does, pushing.
The support stuff.
Right? She's just a support. Okay? You can live without Lily. So that's my take. Yeah. I never touch Inferno, so I didn't really look into it. I didn't have the time to get into Inferno. And even when I did, my goal was to end top 16 in RTA. So by the time I got there, I didn't have a reason to play anymore because I already did all the mistakes I needed to do. Because if I didn't do all of those mistakes, I know that I could push a lot further. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So if I don't do that in the full launch, eventually I'm going to be clearing Inferno on all content. And then at that point, it's just really just RTA. Right? Because there's nothing else to do in this game. That's the end game of this game.
Yeah.
So
that's what we play. That's what we play. Like we're gonna get there at some point.
Yeah, we're all going to get there at some point. It's just a matter of what gets you there comfortably. I didn't get there comfortably.
Get there, like how much you want to grind to get there.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm not the kind of guy that's ever going to chase. Wow, I did a 30-second Inferno run. I'm never that guy. I'm like, if I can do PvP, if my units are good enough for PvP, they're good enough for PvE. Right?
Yeah.
So PvE for me is a means to get into PvP. That's it.
I mean, that's what it should be, yeah.
That I don't flex that. I will flex on you if I beat you in RTA though, because it's either I gear gapped you or I outdrafted you. Either way, it feels good to clown on you. So that's the only time I will flex, right? And that's also if you're.
I mean, it's deserved. It's deserved.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a dickhead, I will clown on you if I ever beat you. And if you ever beat me and you want to clown on me, go for it. I need that.
Yeah,
I need it. So
you already know. You already know I'm gonna. If I ever beat Sterb, if I ever beat him, you already know he'll never hear the end. I can lose 1,000 times in a row. The one time I beat him, that's the only time that I'm gonna talk about. The other 1,000 are never gonna matter ever again.
Yep, that's exactly how it is.
For the game in general, like what are your expectations for Etheria Restart going into launch and for the future of the game? Like, what are you expecting from it?
I am expecting, good things, of course, because it's been a hot minute that a game is willing to come out in 2025 that is focused on RTA and PvP. Okay, if people are talking about dupes matter, so the whales are gonna beat you and stuff like that, I'm like, okay. When the actual tournament happens, you are not. If you guys didn't know, you guys are going to be playing on a dev account, right? Everyone's going to be playing on a level playing field when that happens. Okay, getting there maybe, but if you get there, it's a level playing field. So even if a whale luck sacks his way into the top 16, if he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and he gets onto a dev account, his account's going to be shit, bro. So it doesn't really matter. So I like how they're.
It's all game knowledge at that point.
Yeah, so I like how they've managed, to try to level the playing field for to become an esports game. And as long as they don't mess up, like learn from all the past mistakes of, older games that they have done and rectified, and learn to, improve on existing mechanics and, monetization tactics that are already, good practice in this space. I think they have a recipe for success, because games that last the longest, as far as I can tell, are games that are PvP. Raid Shadow Legends has been around for years. E7's been around for years. Summoners War's been around for years, right? And they're all
But these are like
PvP-centric
almost
games.
10-year plus games.
Yeah, and they're all PvP-centric game because there's nothing. The game does not, get boring. RTA does not ever get boring. I will tell you that. It only gets more stressful.
Yeah.
So you'll always have something to do. You'll always have a reason to farm gear. So I can see if they, take the time and not mess up, the future is bright for Etheria. That's why I'm, so supportive of it. And I'm
Yeah.
finally back into gacha games. So that's my take.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, I'm pretty much exactly behind the same train of thought you are. Like, I see games like E7, I see games like Summoner's War, Raid Shadow Legends that are all PvP gacha centric games, right? They've been around for like the better part of a decade, right? Some of them are more than a decade old, and they're still going around. They're still making money. They're still being supported.
Mm-hmm.
This game looks better, plays better, newer. It's coming in hot, pretty much with quality of life stuff that these games took years to bring in. As Docs mentioned when I was talking to him, there's no way that unless the devs just completely fumble, there's no way that this game doesn't last at least 10 years with constant updates. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm excited about this game because one, as a content creator, this is like a holy grail. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gives me things to look forward to. It gives me gainful employment, I guess. Not in the sense, not in the monetary sense, more in like things to do. Like videos to make, streams, collaborations. I love doing this type of stuff, talking to other players, talking to other content creators. It's something that I enjoy. So it gives me like it gives me like another avenue of like purpose, I guess. Yeah, I'm very, very hopeful for this game. I really hope that the devs and the what is it called, XD, the
Mm-hmm.
company, right?
XD.
Treat this game very, really, really well and treated players even better. All right, guys. Well, yeah, that was Sterby. Really, really good player. Also a really, really good content creator. I'm gonna leave his link to his channel in the description below. Please check him out. Sterby, if you have anything else you want to add,
No,
now's the time.
thank you very much for having me. iSUMMON. We're gonna be doing a part 2 on this interview, and that one will be on my channel. So remember to subscribe to both our channels if you want to see part 2 of this podcast, because we'll start going into like the experience, the hopes, the concerns that we have for the game, and we'll just share and have a little talk about what we think we want to see in Etheria Restart. So guys, make sure you subscribe to both our channels, like the content, comment please if you want to see anything that you want to see more collaborations between us and other content creators. Until then, guys, we'll catch you guys on the next
All
one.
right, guys.